I look at men who get married nowadays as idiots. It's no other way to put it. If a man opts to commit to a woman that did move her in or marry her, especially if he marries her, I'm sorry, I look at them as idiots. Everybody's seen the stats. Everybody sees what happened. Every man on this panel and every woman on this panel probably know 30, 40 men that got ran over in court. Every single one of us. You can deny it all you want. We all know. So to watch that, that's like me watching 50 people put their hand in the alligator's mouth. The alligator bite it off, and then I put my hand in his mouth too. That is the dumbest thing I ever, I want to talk to this guy and tell him how stupid he is for trying to marry anybody. He could have anybody's woman. You know how much we envy. I envy this.
Over the weekend, there was a little news that was made. Let me make sure I turn this up. The Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey situation. Over the weekend, we learned that Hollywood sweethearts Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey were calling it quits after a year and a half. According to a source close to Lori Harvey, Michael was ready for marriage and was looking to settle down, and Lori was just not ready to settle down now. She wanted to focus on her career, and she still wanted to have fun and be free, which is interesting. Lori Harvey is 25, and Michael B. Jordan is 35. And when you look on Twitter, there are a lot of women who are mocking Michael B. Jordan and are actually big upping Lori Harvey. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up. I want to pull up a couple of quotes from Twitter, and let me see if I have that. Okay, so. One is whomever by Panda Bear, whomever Lori Harvey sleeps with, however many bodies she has is none of your business. These are the kind of quotes you were seeing, and I didn't want to I didn't pull up the quotes mocking Michael B. Jordan due to time, but let me see. There's another one. By Kiki Merrick. She say, y'all ends are just mad that Lori is running game. So it's funny, Michael B. Jordan getting dumped and Lori Harvey deletes like all of his pictures on Instagram. That is hilarious to a lot of women out there. And so my question to the panel, I'll start off with this question, is what do you think the reaction would have been if it had been Lori Harvey who had expressed a desire to get married, and it was Michael B. Jordan who broke it off and deleted all pictures of them together? I'll start with you, Hanifa.
This is tough because I'm just going to be honest. I don't really follow celebrity news, but am I aware of this? Yes, because it's been all over social media. But to answer your question, I don't necessarily have to know those people who are involved in it. The answer is it would definitely be a different conversation. It would be, see, many shit. It would be, see, he wasted her time for a whole 12 months. It would be a whole different conversation, but we already know that this is we're gonna just go ahead and put this in the double standard basket, because double standards exist, and there's some of them we could do something about, and some of them we could challenge at our own risk, and some of them we just gotta leave them the hell alone. And this is one of those cases where women are cuddled, embraced even in their wrongdoing, because God forbid, you know, they get any backlash. Everyone wants to put on their cape, men and women, society in general, to rescue the damsel in distress. And this is not this situation. Yes, the conversation would completely be different. That guy would get dragged for filth. And mind you, he is one of the good guys in a lot of women's eyes. But yet he would have still been dragged because it would have been a whole narrative around even the ones that you think are good got issues. They probably would have been like, he probably needs to go to therapy. I mean, the list goes on and on. Toxic masculinity would have came up, so-called toxic masculinity. It would have been a totally different conversation if that had happened. So yeah, it would have sounded much different.
Right, right. Ray, I think you agree with her?
Oh, of course, I agree with her. She makes plenty of sense. That's just, I mean, she went ahead and said it right off the bat. I'm glad she said it, so I don't have to say it. Yes, I think she said is absolutely true. And this is one of the reasons why our women they go on 30, 40, 50, and they by themselves. One of the roots of the problems right here. It's a lot of problems, but this is one of the many why our women. First of all, Michael B. Jordan is stupid for even trying to marry any woman, period. I just want to throw that out there before I go any further. To even attempt to marry, he's an idiot from that. That's the first thing I thought to myself. Michael B. Jordan, every woman I took to the movies that saw Michael B. Jordan was on him harder than she was on me. And you mean to tell me, wait a minute, first of all, one of the incentives to men getting married back in the 20s, the 50s, you know, back when women were women, was to get sex. You know, it was like the prime of their sexual life, right? You talking about early, because they were getting married way earlier than 22, 23, even earlier than that. One of the main incentives for men to get married back then was, it wasn't many sexual options as it is. Now, you got a bunch of women that are strong, independent, don't need no man, and they go on in their life to their 40s. Guess what those 40-year-old women are trying to do with me right now? Anything that I want to get married. But why would a man like that on that status get married? What is he winning? I just go on and on about that, man. I don't get it.
Well,
I'm lost.
Well,
you know how I look at.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You know how I look at men who get married nowadays as idiots. It's no other way to put it. If a man opts to commit to a woman that did move her in or marry her, especially if he marries her, I'm sorry, I look at them as idiots. Everybody seen the stats. Everybody sees what happened. Every man on this panel and every woman on this panel probably know 30, 40 men that got ran over in court. Every single one of us. You can deny it all you want. We all know. So to watch that, that's like me watching 50 people put their hand in the alligator's mouth. The alligator bite it off, and then I put my hand in his mouth too. That is the dumbest thing I ever. I want to talk to this guy, tell him how stupid he is for trying to marry anybody. He could have anybody's woman. You know how much we envy. I envy this. I don't think I'm bad at all.
Okay.
But I can't have anybody.
I want to push back a little bit, right? Okay, and ask you. Let me play devil's advocate. What about the argument that marriage gives a man credibility in the eye of the public? I mean, you saw that with Jay-Z and Beyonce. You see it with LeBron James. LeBron James is a great basketball player. But when he became a family man, or the perception of him being a family man, there are other avenues that open up for him. Say for example, you have 50 Cent. I believe that 50 Cent, for as childish as, he likes to joke and for his age, that he's a little bit too old for that. But he's far more articulate, in my opinion. He's pretty intelligent guy over Jay-Z. But Jay-Z getting married as a guy who was a former drug dealer, marrying Beyonce opened up doors for him. It could have been, I mean, it's great that it's Beyonce, but it could have been another woman. The fact that he's a married man, he's seen as more stable, and it opened up other opportunities for him. So, but I'm going to let Miss T answer that. What about that argument? About it?
Argument for what?
No, I'm saying like it's stabilizing, like marriage stabilizing a man. Well, first, give me what your thoughts would be if the shoe had been on the other foot, and then you can follow up and answer that question.
Well, Hanifa answered that for all of us, I believe. I mean, like she said, we live in a world of double standards, so it absolutely would be a different narrative if the shoe was on the other foot. But I agree, far as what you're saying, when people, male or female, get married, depending on what industry they're in, because like the military is big for that. The higher you go in the ranks, they kind of expect you to have somebody on your arm, engaged or married, because like you said, it gives a different perspective, I guess, in a sense, even a different level of respect. So there are various reasons for why it could work in somebody's favor rather than not.
Yeah. Okay, Rick.
Hey, well, man, you was tough on Michael B. Jordan, man. Listen, I get it though. On his level, it's kind of tough to think I'm gonna get married. I mean, I don't see where it makes a difference for some people. It may make a little difference as far as the public eye, but the public eye is like basically like the woman's eye, right? And I mean, if you're a rock star, you're a rock star. I don't think nobody cared whether Prince was married or not. You know what I mean? Like, you don't. I'm gonna just go back and touch on the double standard thing. We all know it's a double standard. I don't see the benefit of being married nowadays, but I still want to be married. So I don't even know how to deal with that. Like, I still want to meet that person and be married someday. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's still how I feel. I also want to touch on those comments about Michael B. Jordan. They said about Lori Harvey. They said who she sleeps with is nobody's business, but they don't say that when they ain't say that for R. Kelly. Huh? Like, I mean, if that's how we gonna do, then let's do it across the board. They ain't say that for Future. They don't say that for Nick Cannon. They don't say that for a whole lot of men, but Lori Harvey, who she sleep with is none of our business. All right, well, then let's just all mind our business, I guess.